This conference will now be recorded.
So let's take one more small use case as part of this triggers. How to implement the business logic and how to implement the functionality by using trigger handler factory. We'll see practically in this case. So let me take a small use case. For example, I'm having two objects. I have a hiring manager object. So this is the hiring manager object that we inside this hiring manager object, I'm having some set of fields like the ID of the hiring manager, name of the hiring manager, location value, and the phone number. These are the fields are available inside my hiring manager. So this is my hiring manager object, which is having some set of fields inside this. Like I'm having the ID field, name field, location, and the phone number. These are the fields available inside my object. Like the similar way, I have another object. Like the similar way, I'm having another object. Like with the name recruiter object. Recruiter object. There is also a custom object. Recruiter object. So these are the two objects available which are having the same structure, which are having the same fields. I'm having this hiring manager object, which is having the four fields: ID, name, location, and the phone. And I have another object that is recruiter object, which is having the same structure. Okay, which is having the same structure like as ID field, name field, location field, and the phone number. These are the four fields are available inside my recruiter object. Between these two, I'm having a lookup relationship. Okay, between these two, there is a lookup relationship. We have the lookup association. I'm having the lookup association between these two objects, where hiring manager is the parent and then recruiter is a child. So in this case, definitely it will be having an additional field inside my recruiter object, right? Yes, there is a relationship field is available. There is a relationship. Okay, there is a relationship field which is having that field, okay, with the name some HR ID. Okay, now which is having that HR ID. HR ID __ C. So this is the relationship field that we have. So these are the two objects are available: hiring manager and the recruiter. So hiring manager is a parent object and the recruiter is a child object. This is the parent and this is the child. This is the child object. So these are the two objects are available right now with me. These two are not independent. These two are associated, where hiring manager is the parent and the recruiter is the child. Both are having the similar structure. Nothing but same columns are available in both the objects also. And in the recruiter object, we are having one additional column is available. We have an additional field inside my recruiter object, which is associated with that hiring manager object. Which is associated with the hiring manager object. Now, so now my requirement is whenever I'm creating a new hiring manager record. Now, whenever I'm creating a new hiring manager record inside my object, as soon as whenever I'm creating, suppose for example, whenever I'm creating a new hiring manager record, for example, the ID has been allocated by Salesforce like as some A01, now some 3344 name, I'm indicating some Sunil. Okay, some Sunil T. This is the HR person here. Location is some Chennai. Phone number somewhere 9988776655. This is the details I have entered. Whenever I'm going to be creating a new hiring manager record, what I want to do is immediately, I would like to copy this record into my recruiter object. I want to copy this information into my recruiter object. Then how can we synchronize? How can we sync the data? As soon as whenever I'm creating the record inside my hiring manager object, immediately the same record has to be get copied into my recruiter object. So with the same details, it has to create a recruiter record as well. For this recruiter object, the ID will be different. So that it is having the ID, for example, A07. A07, 4466. Name is with the same details. Sunil 50. Location, some Chennai. Phone number, it is entering the phone. Whatever the phone number that I have entered, okay, now with the same details, it is creating the record. Now it is having the relationship. So that means this child is belongs to which parent? Sunil. This is the parent. So it will be holding this ID also. A01. Now 3344. So that means it is holding the relationship also. So now as soon as whenever I'm going to be creating the parent record, immediately I want to create one child record also inside. Then what we can do in this case here? How can we create the child record based on this parent? For that reason, what I want to do is I would like to create a trigger on my hiring manager object. So on my hiring manager object, I would like to have a trigger. So this is the trigger which I would like to prepare. There should be a trigger. There should be a trigger. So now the trigger should be getting fired on, okay, after insert, because once a hiring manager record has been inserted successfully, immediately it has to be get fired. Immediately it has to be get fired. So that I'm indicating that after insert. After insert. So now as soon as whenever a new record has been getting created inside my hiring manager object, then immediately my trigger has to be get fired. Now, this is the trigger I would like to have on my object. So what the trigger will do, the trigger is going to be synchronizing this. That means here with the same details, it is creating one recruiter record. So now the trigger is going to be creating a new record with the same details. So what are the details that have entered inside my hiring manager, with the same details, it is going to be creating a new child record also inside this. It will create a new record inside this. Now, it has to create a new record inside my recruiter object here. This is the first record. That means what? As soon as whenever I'm going to be creating a new record inside my hiring manager, with the same details, it has to create a new record inside my recruiter object also. This is the first requirement. For that one, I have prepared one trigger. So once the hiring manager record has been created, after inserting this hiring manager, I would like to create one recruiter record. Now, suppose for example, in future, if you're modifying these values, suppose in future, if you're modifying this value, so like for example, I'm changing this location. Now this HR person has been transferred from Chennai to some Bangalore. This HR person has been transferred from Chennai to Bangalore. This HR person has been transferred from Chennai to Bangalore. So now whenever this person has been transferred from Chennai to Bangalore, that means whenever I'm modifying this record, whenever I'm updating this hiring manager record, immediately the related record has to be get reflected. Okay, immediately the related record has to be get reflected. That means here, this is the child is available, Sunil record is there. So immediately it has to be get reflected, okay, with the same changes. That means what? Once the hiring manager record has been getting updated, okay, once the hiring manager record has been getting updated, immediately I would like to update this information also. Okay, immediately I want to update this information also. Now, so for that reason, what needs to be done? In this case, I need to have one more trigger over here. I would like to have another trigger. Or it may be you can able to use the same trigger with a different event. So I'm going to be having another trigger in this case. I'm preparing another trigger. So one more trigger I would like to create over here. So now this trigger is going to be getting fired after update. After update, the trigger will get fired. So I'm having a trigger on the same object again. So whenever I'm going to be updating the record, once the record has been getting updated based on this parent ID, I will go to the respective child records and I would like to synchronize. I would like to synchronize these values over here. So for that reason, I'm going to be using this functionality. It is going to synchronize the data. It will synchronize the data. So as soon as whenever I'm updating that record, immediately it has to synchronize the data into the respective child also. This is the second requirement. So whenever I'm creating a new record inside my hiring manager, immediately I want to copy that record into my recruiter. And whenever if I did any changes inside my hiring manager, the same changes I want to reflect into my recruiter also. Now, so now in this case, suppose for example, I did some changes in this place over. Okay, I did some changes in this place. In the recruiter, I'm making some changes. The contact number value, I'm modifying this. I'm modifying the contact number to because 8877665544. I'm changing this phone. Whenever I'm making any changes in this place, then immediately it has to sync back to that hiring manager again. So that what needs to be done once the record has been getting updated here. Okay, once the record has been updated in this place, I want to file one more trigger. Here I'm creating a trigger. On this subject, I'm creating a new trigger over here. On this object, I'm creating a new trigger. So now this trigger will be getting filed. This trigger will be getting filed after update. This trigger will be getting filed after update. Once the record has been getting updated, once the record has been getting updated, immediately it has to sync this records into my respective the parent. Nothing but child to parent. Child to parent, I would like to sync this one. I would like to sync the values. So So now whenever I'm making any changes in this particular child, then the same changes has to be get reflected into my parent also. That means what? I want to synchronize the data. Okay, I want to synchronize the data from parent to child, child to parent. Whenever I'm creating a new hiring manager record, immediately I would like to copy this record into my recruiter. And whenever I'm making any changes in this hiring manager, immediately I would like to make these changes to be reflected back to the recruiter. So whenever I made any changes over here, I would like to sync this information back to my hiring manager also. So in this case, these operations may be either single record, these operations may be on bulk records also. I want to sync these changes. Then how can we implement this kind of functionalities? With the help of trigger. I want to use this trigger, then how can we implement? So parent to child I want to sync, and child to parent also I would like to sync. Then how can we implement this kind of functionality? Now let's see practically with the help of trigger. Now, so here half of the part I will explain. Okay, half of the part I will be giving to you as an assignment. Like I will show you that how to sync from hiring manager to recruiter. Okay, after insert, after update, both I will show you practically. And then child to parent you have to implement today. Okay, child to parent you have to implement that. Now let's see in this case how can we implement. So first of all, I would like to have the two objects, hiring manager and the recruiter object. These are the two objects are required for. Already we have the hiring manager object. Now I need to create the recruiter object which will be having that similar structure. Now, so let me go to my functionalities. I'm having this hiring manager object which is having this four fields. Hiring manager name, location, email ID, and the contact. With the same details, I would like to create one more object also. So let me create the object right now. I'm creating the object through schema builder. Now I'm creating an object. Recruiter. And the plural label I'm indicating like as recruiters. Now I want that reports, activities, track field history, notes and attachments I don't want. I'm creating this object. Now I would like to add the fields. By default name field is available. Now I would like to add the remaining fields like as email ID, email address, email address field which I'm making it as required. Next, the contact number. I'm adding the contact number field. I'm making it as required. And the location field. Location. I'm indicating some values. Hyderabad, Bangalore, Chennai, Pune, Mumbai, Noida, Delhi, Kochi. These are the various values I would like to populate. I'm going to be making these values to be get arranged in the alphabetical order. Now make it save. Now my object is ready with the required fields. Email address, contact number, location. These are the fields. So now once the object is ready, then I would like to go with the tab creation. Because here I have created the object through schema builder. So schema builder will not provide any tab. So let me create the tab. Create a new tab for my custom object, that is recruiter. Select the tab style. I'm selecting this tab style over here. Like I would like to go with the keys. This is one of the tab style I'm selecting right now. Click on next. Make the tab to be visible for all the profile users. Make this tab to be visible for all the applications. So now my tab is also ready. Recruiter object tab is also ready. Now when you go to the recruiters, once you click on that new button, only 3 fields are visible, another field is not visible. I want to make this to be get customized. Edit the layout. Now let me customize this. I'm adding these fields, recruiter name and the location name, email ID, and the contact. Owner field should be in this place. Now, system information section also to be get visible in both the layouts. I don't want open activities, activity history also. So now I'm done with that page layout customization as well. So now I'm having both the objects. Now my requirement is what I would like to make the association between these two. Okay, I would like to make the association between these two. So this recruiter should be associated with hiring manager. So I'm going to map in the relationship. Click on that new button to create a lookup relationship. I'm selecting the lookup relationship. Go to the next. Make the related object as hiring manager. And make the lookup relation parent object as hiring manager. Go to the next. I'm indicating field name as hiring manager ID. Okay, hiring manager ID. Go to the next. Make the field to be visible to all the profile users by selecting the visible checkbox. Go to the next and make it save. Now both the objects are related right now. Okay, now both the objects are related. Like when you go to the schema builder also, we can able to verify. Okay, when you go to the schema builder also, we can able to verify. Let me go to the schema builder. Now my recruiter object is visible over here. Along with that, I'm going to be making it visible that hiring manager. So both the objects are visible to me right now over here. So this is my recruiter object and then my hiring manager. So hiring manager object is the parent and the recruiter object is the child. So where we are having the lookup association. So now both the objects are ready with me right now. Okay, both the objects are ready with me. Now what I need to do, now I would like to implement the business logic. Like whenever I'm creating a new HR record inside my hiring manager object with the same details, it has to create a recruiter record also. It has to create a recruiter record also. Now, how can we implement that? For that reason, I would like to create a trigger. On my hiring manager object, I would like to create a trigger which is used to create that respective hiring recruiter record inside my recruiter object. Now, let's see how can we implement this functionality. So now this is my recruiter object is available here, which is having this relationship field also. Let me customize this layout. I'm placing this owner field in this field. Now, so this is the field is available. I'm having the hiring manager object. This is the hiring manager object over here. And then this is the recruiter object. Both are available. Now let me synchronizing these values from hiring manager to the recruiter. How to do that? Now let me show you practically. For that one, I would like to create a trigger on my hiring manager object. Let me go to the developer console in order to create a trigger on my hiring manager. Now, I'm creating a new trigger. Sync hiring manager records. I'm giving that name as sync hiring manager records. This trigger I'm creating on the object hiring manager. So as soon as whenever a new hiring manager record has been created, immediately I would like to sync this data into my recruiter. Click on submit. A trigger has been getting created. So now as part of this requirement, what I need to do, I need to create the trigger of the on after insert. As soon as whenever I'm going to be inserting a new record inside my hiring manager, once a record has been created, then immediately I would like to copy that record into my recruiter. Now for that one, I'm going to be indicating that event as after insert. After insert. Now, so then how can we implement? The first of all, we have to know. So we have to write the trigger context. Trigger dot is after and trigger dot is insert. Okay, after insert. So once the HR records has been getting created, once the hiring manager records has been getting created, whatever the hiring manager records we have inserted right now, those will be available where? Those will be available inside the trigger dot. So those will be available inside that trigger dot. Trigger dot new is what? A list collection. List of what? List of hiring. List of hiring. Trigger dot new is a list collection. List of hiring. So now inside this, so in this case, whatever the hiring manager records we have created or inserted right now, those hiring manager records will be available inside this trigger.new. Trigger.new is a list collection which contains a collection of hiring manager records which you have inserted right. That will be single, that will be collection also. Now what I need to do, I need to insert this records into my recruiter record. How can we pass? For that one, I am going to be preparing. Okay, I am preparing the handler class. I'm preparing a handler class. Okay. I'm using this trigger handler factory. Hiring manager sync handler. Hiring manager sync handler. This is the handler class. In this handler class, I'm preparing the method. Public static void after insert. After insert. So whatever the business logic we are going to implement as part of this after insert event, that entire business logic we have to write inside this method. So what I need to do, whatever the records we have inserted inside my hiring manager object, those records are available inside the trigger.new. Trigger.new is nothing but a list collection, list of hiring manager, then pass all this list of hiring manager records to my method. So my method should be receiving this list of hiring LST HR records. Whatever the hiring manager records you have inserted right now, pass all those hiring manager records to my after insert. Now what this method will do, this method will collect each and every hiring manager record, and based on this hiring manager record, it will be creating the respective recruiter records automatically. Now, here we need to write the business logic. So I'm implementing this. If LST HR records is not empty, that means if the collection is not empty, then what I need to do, I need to collect each and every hiring manager record. So I'm iterating this. Each and every hiring manager, HR from LST HR records. So I'm collecting each and every hiring manager record. Whatever the hiring manager records you have created right now, I'm collecting each and every hiring manager record. Now I would like to create. Okay, now I would like to create the respective recruiter record. Create a recruiter record. create the recruiter record with the same details. My object name is what? Recruiter underscore underscore C, REC equals to new recruiter. This is the recruiter object over here. I'm creating the object recruiter class. So now once the object has been created, then map the values. Recruiter dot name. And then what value? HR dot. In that HR record, whatever the name value is available, pass that name value to this particular recruiter record. I'm passing this one. And then recruiter dot location name equals to HR dot location. I'm syncing the values. Recruiter dot contact number equals to HR dot contact number. Recruiter dot email ID HR dot email and mapping. Along with that, map that relationship field also. Recruiter dot hiring manager ID equals to HR dot I'm mapping this. This is one record. That means what? Whatever the hiring manager record you have inserted right now, with the same details, I'm creating a recruiter record also. Okay, I'm creating a recruiter record. So I'm collecting the hiring manager record information. That hiring manager record information I'm passing to the fields of recruiter over here. So the HR record name I'm placing inside that recruiter name field, HR location value I'm passing into that recruiter location field, HR contact number into the recruiter's contact number, HR email ID into that recruiter's email ID. And then along with that, to make these two records synchronized, I'm going to be mapping this one, HR record ID into the relationship field over here. This is one record. So like that here, sometimes I'm creating hiring manager records, 20 hiring manager records also through programming, through data loader, whatever. So at that time, how can we do that? For that reason, I'm using the bulkification concept. I'm using this list of recruiter, LST recruiters equals to new list of recruiter. I'm creating a listing collection. I'm creating a listing collection. Now, once the recruiter record is prepared, then I would like to add this recruiter record to my collection. Add the record to collection to implement the bulkification process. And indicating LST recruiter start add up recruiter record. LST recruiter start add up recruiter record. So that always we have to implement the bulkification. Suppose here if I'm not using this kind of bulkification, so now if you're inserting 10 records, that trigger will fire 10 times. I don't want to fire my trigger 10 times. I want to make my trigger to be fired only once. So that here, even though you may be inserting 10 hiring manager records also through Apex programming in one shot. So now all the hiring manager records it will collect, and it is going to passing this hiring manager records, okay, to my after insert method, it will collect all the hiring manager records, and based on that, I'm going to preparing the recruiter records. Once all the recruiter records have been getting prepared, then we have to insert this. I'm indicating. Insert the records. I'm indicating if LST recruiters is not empty. If the collection is not empty, then I'm using this insert LST recruiters. So now here I'm indicating this. I'm going to prepare these records. That means what? I'm collecting each and every hiring manager record which you have created right now. I'm collecting the HR record details. Based on those HR record details, I'm creating the recruiter record. I'm adding that record to the collection. I'm adding the record to the collection. Once all the records has been added to the collection, then I'm going to be inserting this hiring recruiter records inside my recruiter object. This is the functionality. Always you have to follow the bulkification process. Even though if you're creating 10 hiring manager records, then it will be firing only once. Now, so now here in this case, how can we invoke this one? How to invoke this particular functionality? For that one, I'm going to be invoking this method. Hiring manager sync handler dot after insert. Okay, after insert, here I'm passing the list of HR records which I have inserted. Those will be available inside that trigger dot. That's it. Those are available inside the trigger dot. So in this case, what happened? Whenever I'm creating a new hiring manager record inside my hiring manager object, once a record has been inserted successfully, then immediately, it is going to be firing my trigger and it is going to be collecting those records which we have inserted. Those records are passing to the after insert method of that hiring manager sync handler class. Now this class will be collecting those hiring manager records. Then it is going to verifying if the records are available or not, if the collection is empty or not. If the collection is not empty, it will collect each and every hiring manager record. Based on that hiring manager record details, it is preparing the recruiter records, and then these recruiter records will be getting inserted into your object. This is the way we can able to sync the functionalities. Now, so now let me test this functionality right now. For example, I'm creating a hiring manager record, a new hiring manager record. I'm indicating that hiring manager name like some Praveen Kumar. Praveen Kumar. Location I'm indicating like some Hyderabad. Contact number some value. And the email ID Praveen@gmail.com. Praveen@gmail.com. This is my hiring manager object. I'm creating a new hiring manager record. As soon as once I click on this save button, my hiring manager record has been getting created. And then immediately it has to create one recruiter record. Go to the recruiter object, open this recruiter object. Get the records. Now the Praveen Kumar record has been created successfully. Let me edit these fields right now. Display the fields, recruiter name, and the contact number, location name, and the email. Now let's see. With the same details, it has created a recruiter record also. When you open this record, it is indicating this. Now this is the Praveen Kumar record is available over here, which we have created. So which is related to the hiring manager, that is Praveen Kumar is a hiring manager. Here the Praveen Kumar hiring manager record has been. So like that, we can create 10 records also. Then it is going to be creating 10 records inside this particular object itself. It may be single, it may be multiple also. Now, for example, I'm creating one more record. I'm creating one more record with the name some Abhinav Sharma or Abhishek Sharma, for example. Now the location is some Delhi. Contact number I'm indicating somewhere. Now here the email ID sharma@gmail.com. Once you click on save, hiring manager record has been created. Immediately it is going to be creating a recruiter record. Go to the recruiter object, you can able to see that recruiter record also. Now Abhishek Sharma record also has been created with the details whatever we have it. So this is how we are going to be syncing the data. We are able to sync the data also inside this. Now, so upon creating the hiring manager record, it is copying this data from a recruiter. Up to this one we are done. The first use case we are done with this one. First requirement is done. Then the second requirement. Suppose if I did any modifications inside my hiring manager record. Suppose if I modify any hiring manager record. It may be name, it may be location, it may be phone number, whatever, anything. Whenever I'm modifying this hiring manager record information, then immediately those information has to be get updated into my recruiter record, into my respective recruiter record. Because these are related, right? So the corresponding recruiter record also has to be get updated. So as soon as whenever I'm making any changes, then immediately these changes has to be get reflected inside this respective recruiter record. Then how can we sync this information? Whenever if we did any modifications, those modifications have to be get synchronizing into the respective recruiter record. Then what we can do? So in this case, I need to prepare the trigger, which will be getting filed on after update. So that I'm using the same trigger over. Okay, I'm using that same trigger. Here I'm adding one more event that is called as after. So now here I'm adding this trigger context. If trigger dot is after and trigger dot is after. Trigger dot is after and the trigger dot is after. Now, so what needs to be done now? In this case, whatever the hiring manager records you have modified right now, whatever the hiring manager records you have modified right now, those are available inside the trigger dot new, and those are available inside the trigger dot new map also. Those are available inside the trigger dot new map. Because records are already existing. Just we are updating the record right now. We are modifying the record. So records are already there. So record IDs are also available. Now in this case, what needs to be done? Whatever the records we have modified right now, based on these record IDs, okay? Whatever the hiring manager records we have modified, I want to collect this hiring manager record ID. Which record you have modified? For example, I did the modification in this record. So I would like to collect this record ID. Based on that ID, I would like to collect the respective recruiter records, and then I would like to sync the values over there. I would like to sync these values. The phone number I would like to sync, and the name also I would like to sync, and the location also I would like to sync. So in this case, what happened? I need to collect the IDs of this hiring manager records which are modified, so that if we need ID, then better we can able to go with that map collection. So now here I would like to pass this map collection of that hiring manager records which are modified, right? So I'm using this map collection. Here I'm preparing the business logic, right? I'm preparing the method. Public static void after update, which should be receiving the hiring manager records in the form of map collection. Map of ID comma hiring manager. Now map HR. So whatever the hiring manager records you have modified, I'm collecting this hiring manager records over. Whatever the hiring manager records you have modified, collect those hiring manager records, and those records are passing to my method. Now my method will collect this hiring manager records which are modified. Based on these records, it has to collect the respective childs. It has to synchronize the values over here into my child records. Then what needs to be done in this case? I'm going to collect this. Based on this hiring manager records, I need to collect the respective recruiter records over. I need to collect the respective recruiter records over. Then how can we do that? Now let's see practically in this case. Now I'm collecting list of recruiter. Now LST recruiters. Now I'm collecting that respective recruiter records. Select ID of that recruiter record, name of the recruiter record, location name, email address, contact number, hiring manager ID. Hiring manager ID from recruiter object. From recruiter object, where hiring manager ID __ C in, we need to specify map HR records dot keys. That means whatever the map collection that you have passed, in this map you will be having hiring manager records in the form of what? So now the record ID will be in the form of the key, and the complete HR record is in the form of value. So I would like to collect the IDs, only the IDs. Based on this hiring manager IDs, I would like to collect the respective recruiters. So to collect all the hiring manager record IDs from this map, I'm using this key set method. I'm using the key set method, which will return all the hiring manager record IDs which you have modified. Based on this hiring manager record IDs, I'm collecting the respective recruiter records over by comparing with that hiring manager ID field inside this. Now, once the recruiter records are available, okay, once the recruiter records are available, I'm verifying the collection. If LST recruiters is not empty, that means if the collection is not empty, there are some related recruiter records are available, then we can able to sync that information. Then sync the information right now over. Now let's verify. Collect this each and every recruiter record and then update that information over. Okay, update that information. Now in this case. So now if the recruiter records collection is not empty, that means there are some related records are available. Then iterate this for each and every recruiter. REC from the LST recruiters. Recruiters. I'm collecting each and every recruiter record. So now in this recruiter record, I want to update the respective hiring manager field. So now recruiter dot name equals to the respective hiring manager's name I would like to populate. So how can we collect that hiring manager record? We can able to collect. Now I'm collecting hiring manager underscore C HR equals to, now I'm collecting map HR records dot get of recruiter dot hiring manager. That means what? Whatever the recruiter record is available, this recruiter record is related to one HR record. That HR record ID is there inside my hiring manager ID field. So I'm going to be passing this hiring manager ID to my map collection. In this map collection, all the HR records are available. So I want that HR record which is related to my recruiter over here. So that I'm going to passing the HR record ID to my map collection. So the map collection is going to be collecting the respective HR record. That HR record information I'm storing inside my HR record. Now we can able to pass HR dot and the recruiter dot location. HR dot location. Recruiter dot email address. HR dot recruiter dot contact number. HR dot contact. I'm going to pass in this value. I'm passing this value. And then I need to update this value. That means I'm collecting the HR record information. I'm passing to my recruiter record over. So I would like to update, but I don't want to update within the for loop. I would like to use a multiplication concept. List of recruiter. Recruiters to update. Equals to new list of recruiter. I'm creating the listing collection. In this listing collection, I would like to store all the recruiter records which we have assigned with the latest values. Now I'm going to be adding this recruiter to update that add of recruiter record. Whatever the recruiter record we have assigned with the latest values, I'm going to be adding this record to my collection. I'm adding this record to my collection. Once all the records has been added to the collection, that means the first collect the first recruiter record, and then based on that HR record information, please update this one. And the second recruiter record and assign with the latest values. Third recruiter record update with this value. So now in this case, once the recruiter records has been getting assigned with the latest values, then we can able to update that. I'm indicating if recruiters to update is not empty. That means if the collection is not empty, then we can able to update that. Now update recruiter to, that's it. So now we are collecting these records and we need to update it. Okay, we are collecting these records and we are going to be updating it back to the database. So in this case, what we did, we are collecting the HR records which has been modified recently. Those records information are collected. Based on that records, I would like to update that. I would like to see the respective recruiters. So that based on this hiring manager record IDs, I'm collecting the related child records. Once the child records are available, then I'm going to be iterating each and every child record. Then for this child, what is the parent record is there? I'm collecting the respective parent record information. Then I'm syncing this parent record data into my child over. And then I'm going to be achieving the multiplication so that I'm adding this record to that collection. I'm adding this record to that collection. I'm adding this record to that collection. Once all the records have been getting added to the collection, then I'm going to be updating all these records back to the database over here in one shot by using this update statement in this case. No. So now here this is the way. So now in this case, whatever the HR records you have updated, all those HR records I would like to pass over. How can we pass? I need to call this method. So what is that method? After update method. So now here I'm indicating. Okay, hiring manager sync handle that after update. After update we are passing the trigger that new map. Trigger that new map, and then here I'm going to passing this information. That's it. Over. So this is the way we are implementing. Nothing but my trigger is not having any logic. Everything will be available inside my class itself. Okay, everything is available inside my class itself. So inside the class, we have prepared this business logic. Now, in this class, we have prepared this business logics. So we have prepared the methods according to the event name for our easy identification. That means in the trigger, okay, if the trigger has been fired on after insert event, then it is going to be invoking the method that is after insert method. If the trigger has been fired on after update event, it is calling that after update. Like that, for our easy identification, we are going to follow this kind of notation. So now from now onwards, whenever we are going to be updating that hiring manager record, the same details has to be get syncing into that recruiter record also. Now let's see. Let me show you. So now this is the hiring manager record is available over here. Abhishek Sharma. So now here in this case, as per the recruiter record, also Abhishek Sharma is available. Now I'm changing this Abhishek Sharma record. Now here I'm indicating. Simply I'm indicating the name as simply Abhishek. Okay, simply Abhishek. Once you click on the save, then immediately these changes have to be reflected into my recruiter records also. Refresh this recruiter records, you will be having Abhishek. The record also has been updated. For example, I'm making the changes over. Instead of Delhi, I'm indicating like some Noida. And the contact number also I'm giving all our gates. All our gates. Now, whenever I'm changing this one, once you click on save, then automatically these changes will be reflected. Previously, we are having the different values are available, contact number, location, etc. Now refresh this user interface. Now you are getting that Noida, and then contact number also has been updated. Like that, we can able to sync the values from parent to child. Also depends upon your application requirement with the help of this. This is how we are going to be implementing this functionality. Now, so this is how we are going to be implementing this functionality. Now, whenever you are making any changes, then immediately I would like to reflect these changes back to the database also. For that reason, we are using this trigger also. Okay, after insert and after. With the functionality we have to use as part of your business requirements. In this case, sometimes they will raise a question. Suppose, for example, I'm opening this particular hiring manager record. Click on the simply edit button. I did not modify anything. Simply have click on save. So in this case, what happened here? Now duplicate record has been found because there is a trigger is available on that here because the duplicate record is available on this particular. To eliminate the duplicate records, we are using this functionality. So now I'm indicating this. Suppose, for example, let me deactivate the trigger. On the hiring manager object. There is a trigger is available. I'm deactivating this. Now, for example, in this case, now assume that I have clicked on this edit button. I did not modify anything. I did not modify anything. When I click on the save button, now my HR record will be getting updated here. Immediately my trigger will fire. It is going to syncing the data also over. But in this case, I don't want to fire my trigger. If something has been modified, if something has been modified, if something has been modified, then only I would like to fire this trigger. Then what will it do in this case? All the cases I don't want to fire. If something has been modified, then only I would like to fire this particular trigger in order to sync the values from hiring manager to position. So hiring manager to the recruiter. How can we do this one? Then how can we add the conditions? Now tell me how can we add this condition inside my trigger? I need to check whether this hiring manager record values has been modified or not. If these are not modified, then I don't want to fire the trigger. If something has been modified, then only I would like to fire. How can we do? In this case, inside the trigger itself, I would like to write that code. Inside the trigger itself, I would like to write that code. I want to verify. Whatever the hiring manager records are available, we need to collect all the hiring manager records. I need to iterate this. Now, for each and every hiring manager record, which are modified. Hiring manager underscore C HR, okay, from the trigger dot new. Whatever the record that you have updated recently right now, I want to verify if the old value, new value is same or not. I would like to compare. Then how can we compare over? How can we compare this one?
We can compare the value as trigger dot old map dot hr not equals to trigger dot new dot hr. Then we can update the records.
Right. Each and every field value we have to compare. Not the direct record. We can compare each and every field value. How we can compare now? Let me show you. If the trigger dot old map, okay, trigger dot old map dot get of HR dot ID. That means I'm collecting the old value of this HR record here. Not equals to HR dot. I'm collecting that name value. Not equals to the name value. That means what is the first condition? I'm comparing this. If any of the field has been modified, then only I would like to verify. Suppose first of all I'm comparing here. Trigger dot new. That means latest information is available. I'm collecting each and every record. I'm verifying. If this HR record name value is not equal to the old value, that means if the old value and the new value both are not same, that means it has been modified. So old values are available where in the trigger dot old map. Trigger dot old map. In that map is nothing but it is a collection, map collection. So from that one I'm collecting the record by passing the ID. From that one I'm collecting the name value. Okay, the name value I'm collecting over here. With the name value I'm going to be comparing. If the old value of the name field and then the new value of the name field is not same, that means both are different. R. The second one, second field also I would like to compare. What is that? If trigger dot old map dot get of HR dot ID dot location. Okay, I'm collecting that. So now, if the location value is not equals to HR dot location, if it is not equals to this one, R, any one of the condition, any of the field has been modified, then only I would like to file. Trigger dot old map dot get of HR dot ID dot contact number underscore P not equals to HR dot contact number. R. The fourth field. With trigger dot old map dot get of HR dot ID dot email ID. Email ID not equals to HR dot email. That means if these particular values are not modified, not the same, then only I would like to synchronize this information. Then only I would like to collect this HR record information. Whatever the HR record is available, that HR record information I'm collecting over here. That means each and every HR record which are modified. Now some records you may not be able to modify here. Simply same values are available. Old value, new value may be same, but at that time I don't want to find my trigger. I don't want to waste my resources. For that one, I'm comparing that if the old value of that HR record value and the new value both are different. Any one of the field has been modified. Location value is modified. Contact number has been modified. Email ID has been modified. If any of the field has been modified, I'm collecting those records. For that one, to store this information, I'm using map collection. Map of ID, comma, hiring manager. Manager, now, HR records. HR records updated equals to new map of ID, comma, hiring manager. Inside this, I'm going to be adding the record. In this collection, I'm adding that by using the put method. I'm adding that HR record. HR record dot ID, comma, HR. Once all the records have been getting added, that means I'm collecting each and every hiring manager record. So now, if you're inserting the record through the data loader also, if for some few records which are passing the same values, then I don't want to update those records again. For that reason, I'm collecting each and every record. I'm verifying if the record field value has been modified or not. If the field value has been modified, then only I'm collecting that HR record. I'm adding that record to my map collection. Now, once the map collection, I'm verifying if the map collection is not empty. If the map collection is not empty. If the map is not empty, then I would like to pass this information to my record. I'm passing this collection to my method. That's it. That's a simple concept. So in this case, so we are verifying each and every hiring manager record. Okay, each and every hiring manager record I would like to verify. So now whatever the records you have updated, I'm verifying this if the HR record has been modified or not. If the HR record has been modified, then only I am going to be adding that record to my map collection over here. Once all the modified HR records has been added to this particular collection, then I'm passing that records to my method. So now my method will be receiving this hiring when the records which has been modified based on that it is synchronizing these values to respect to recruiter records. This is how we are going to be implementing the functionality. If some of the HR records are not modified, suppose for example, simply I have clicked on this edit button and then save button. At that time, my trigger will be firing, it is not going to be updating this information because records values are not modified. Then why we need to update it again over here? Why do we need to waste my DML statements again? So why do we need to waste my SOQL queries again? For that one here, we are going to saving our SOQL queries and the DML statements with the help of by adding this kind of conditions. Now here I'm indicating this configuration. Now, check whether the HR record has been modified. If the HR record has been modified, then add the record to the collection and then we can pass this record to the synchronization class so that it is going to sync in the data into a respective object. So this is how we are going to verify the condition. In the real-time implementations also, we have to follow the similar kind of functionalities. Now, so now in this, so suppose for example, now let me test. I'm going to be taking one hiring manager record over here, that is Praveen Kumar. I'm changing this location from Hyderabad to the Mumbai. Contact number I'm updating here. All are set. Now click answer. As soon as whenever my hiring manager record has been modified, immediately it is synchronizing these values into my respective the Praveen Kumar in the recruiter records also. It is going to synchronizing these values also. Suppose if you are not performing, okay, suppose in this case, if you are not updating over. Suppose if you are not updating this information. I did not modify anything. Click on edit button, click on simply save button. In this case here, it won't perform those update operations. Okay, it won't perform those update operations over. It won't utilize any DML statements also. Like for example, how can we verify? Let me go to that. Whether my DML operations has been done or not. Let me go to the debug log files, go to the monitor, go to the logs, debug logs. Okay, go to the debug logs. So now we can enable this one. We can enable this one. I'm removing the existing log files. Now, so now open this debug log file over here. To open this particular the trace flags. Now we can able to change over here. Now, I'm editing this one. Specify the time period. Okay, specify the time period. So now from today, okay, onwards to the 28th. Okay, 1 day. Okay, 1 day I'm going to be indicating because the duration should be 1 day. That means from now onwards, whatever the functionalities I'm executing, business logic I'm executing, that entire debug log files we can able to place inside this. Now, from now onwards, whenever I'm going to be executing any trigger or visual first page or anything, it will be tracking that information. Now, so let me update this information. Let's go to the hiring manager. I'm opening the Praveen Kumar record. I'm changing the location value from Mumbai to Kilakasam, Chennai. Click on save. Once you click on save, what will happen? It will be updating this value. The same value will be synchronizing to that the Praveen Kumar record also from the Mumbai to Chennai. It has been updated. Let's go to the debug labs over here. Refresh this user interface. The debug log will be getting generated over here. This is the debug log file has been generated. Open the debug log file over here. Here it is tracking this information. Hiring manager information, whatever we have modified, everything it will be tracking this information. So now how many DML statements we have used over here? Number of DML statements, 1 out of 150. And then how many records have been modified? Number of DML rows, 1 out of 10,000. How many SQL queries we have executed? 1. Because here inside my business logic I have written this code. That I'm collecting that SQL query. Once a parent record has been modified, then you can able to update this. So now we are querying that respect to child record over here, and then we are updating by using this update statement. One DML statement we have used, one SQL query we have used. So it is tracking everything inside this one. So here one DML statement we have used, one SQL query also we have used. Now, let's go back to this one. Next, I'm going to the Praveen Kumar. Click on edit button. I did not modify anything. Click on save. I haven't modified anything. Now let's go to the debug log files. Refresh this user interface. A new debug log file will be getting generated. One more debug log file. Click on view. Let's see. So now we're in this case. How many SQL queries we have used? 0. Because this part is not executed here. Okay, this part is not executed. Why? Because record is not yet updated. Okay, record is not yet updated. If it did not modify anything, it is cross-checking that record here. If the record is not modified, then why we need to sync? Nothing is there to sync. Same values are there. So what we need to sync in that? Nothing. So at that time, we no need to execute this business logic. So no SQL queries, no DML statements. So we can able to track this information. Number of SQL queries we have used is 0. Number of DML statements we have used is 0. Nothing we have used. This is how we have to save the DML statements, and we have to use that. We have to save that SQL queries. So if something has been modified, then only find the business logic. And don't find don't find in our base. Because unnecessarily it is utilizing more number of DML statements, more number of SQL queries. So because SQL queries and DML statements are very, very costly to us. So that here costly means we are having very less number. So we have to utilize very, very efficiently. For that reason, we are going to be tracking this debug log files also. If something has been modified, then only sync. If nothing is modified, then what we need to sync in that one? Nothing. Like when you go to the bank also, whenever your amount has been deposited, that means balance value has been updated, then only you are getting the SMS notification. If something is not modified, you won't get the SMS notification. Nothing. So for that reason, like the similar way here also, I don't want to waste my DML statements. I don't want to waste my SQL queries. For that one, we can track this DML statements, how many we have used, everything with the help of this particular functionalities as well. So for that reason here, we are going to be adding this kind of conditions inside your code, whether if the record values have been modified, then only we can able to find that functionality. If the record is not yet modified, then we don't need to find that functionality. So this is how we are going to be adding some certain conditions inside this. Okay, this is the second part. Next, the third one, it's your turn. It's your part right now. So now whenever I'm updating this recruiter record, suppose for example, if I make any changes in this recruiter, let's go to the recruiter record. This is the recruiter object right now. So now open this Praveen Kumar recruiter record. I'm changing this location from Chennai to like some Hyderabad. When I click on save, I want to sync these values into my hiring manager also. In hiring manager also, I want to sync that value to from Chennai to Hyderabad. So for that one, we have to implement the trigger. So it's your turn. So it's your assignment today. You have to write the trigger. Okay, how to write the trigger on your recruiter object. So upon updating this recruiter record, here also check the same conditions. Here also check the same conditions. If the name, value, or location or phone number has been modified, if any one of this field has been modified, okay, then only sync that values to the respective hiring manager. Okay, try the trigger today over. Okay, try the trigger today so that you can able to understand what exactly the functionality is about. Okay, now this is the assignment for you today. This is how we are going to be syncing the data from parent to child and from child to parents. So depends upon our application requirement. So that always you have to implement the business logic in the form of trigger handler factor. And then once this particular classes has been implemented, then we have to give some the comments also in this particular methods. For these methods, we have to give some comments. That means why these methods have been implemented. What is the functionality of this method? We have to give some comment also. As part of real-time implementation, whenever we are giving some comment for the class or for the method, there is a specific format. There is a specific format which we have to format. Now, let me show you that formats over. Whenever we are implementing the triggers, we have to follow some formats over. Upon implementing the triggers, we have to give some comments also. For the class, we have to give the comment like this. For the class, you will be having some comment. Comment is nothing but some documentation. Some documentation we have to prepare like this. I'm indicating this other. You have to specify the comment in this format. Now I'm indicating other. I'm indicating my name. So now the description. We have to specify the description of the class over. So when this, what is the functionality of this class over? And then I'm indicating this is the commenting format we have to follow for your class. Specify the other name. Who is the other? Nothing but who has prepared this business logic class over. Description. Now in this case, this class contains all the business logics to be used to synchronize the data from hiring manager to recruiter and vice versa. It is having all the business logics which are used to synchronize the data from hiring manager to recruiter and vice versa. Version 1.1, nothing but this is the first time I'm creating this class. Created date, we can specify over here. I'm indicating May 28, 2020. References, nothing but where this particular class is using. Where this class is being referenced. This class is using inside this particular trigger. This is the trigger name. I'm indicating this trigger. Why? Because if suppose, for example, in future, if anybody is going to be removing this class, they can understand because of the removal of this particular class, this is the trigger will be getting impacted. Okay, these are the impacted area. This trigger will be getting impacted. Why? Because in this trigger we are using this class over here. In this trigger we are using this class. So references, where we are referencing this class is referencing inside my trigger. Now, suppose in future, I am the author over here. Suppose in future, if somebody has modified, suppose Shiva has modified this trigger, because Shiva got some new requirement for this particular requirement here. For this requirement, he got some enhancement. So that trigger Shiva is modified that, so that you can modify that. Shiva has modified that code like some May 28. May 28, 2020, due to some fixing the defect over here, the defect number. Because of this defect ID, because of the defect number, because of this issue, so now this issue has been assigned to Shiva. Shiva has worked on my class, he has modified, he did some changes inside my classroom. So that we need to track everything here. Whenever if anybody has been modified my class code, then we need to track everything inside this. So that here we need to give the comment like this. This is called as documentation for your classes also. In the real time, we have to follow. This kind of documentation will be given by the client. Or if when coming to the company, in every organization, you will be having coding standards or naming conventions document. There they will be giving the clear comment documentation style. Company to company, project to project, client to client, this kind of comments will be different. So according to that standard format, we have to follow this kind of comment. Who is the author of this one? Then what is the description of this class? What is the functionality? Suppose if anybody wants to understand what exactly the business logic of this class, what is the purpose of the class, they no need to look into the code, just they can able to look into the description, they can understand what is the business logic. And then after that, for each and every method, we have prepared two methods over here. For each and every method, we have to provide that documentation also. Not only for the class, for the method also, we have to provide the documentation. The method documentation will be looking like this. The method document will be looking like this. For the methods, different documentation over here. We have to specify the method name and the description over here and the parameters. What are the types of parameters are available? References, everything we have to specify. So now here in this case, we have to specify for the method, we have to provide the documentation like this. What is the method name? Method name is after insert. What is the description of this method? This method is going to be synchronizing the HR record information into recruiter records. Now for that, this method will create the recruiter records based on the hiring manager record details. Based on the hiring manager record details. Now, so what is the parameters here? We can give the parameter name. What is the parameter name? This is the parameter name here. LST HR records. Parameter type. What is the type of the parameter? List collection. List of hiring. Will it be returning anything over here? No. Return type is void, so nothing. Will it be throwing any exception? No, not applicable. References, where we are using this method we are going to be calling inside a trigger called as sync hiring manager records trigger over here. In this trigger, we are calling this. So we are going to be indicating this references. I'm indicating the trigger, and the version is 1.4. Now, so this is the documentation. For the second method over here, one more method is available. One more method is available. So what is the second method? After update. Here also we have to give the documentation. So now the method name is after update. This method will update, or this method will synchronize the recruiter records based on the latest values of hiring manager records. The method will synchronize the related recruiter records based on the latest values of hiring manager records. And the parameter says the first parameter is, this is the parameter name, map HR records, and the parameter type is, this is the map collection. Now returns, it is not returning anything, no exceptions over here, it is showing references is the one. Suppose if you're having one more parameter, is for example, there is a Boolean parameter. Okay, is active. Then at that time, what we can do? How can we add the multiple parameters? Here we have to add one more parameter. We add one more parameter. Parameter name. What is the parameter name? Is active. Is active. Parameter type is what? Boolean. Okay. Like that here, we have to indicate this information. Multiple parameters may be there. We have to list out all these parameters. Like that, we have to prepare the documentation for your classes and methods which are implementing inside your application, so that if somebody is joining as new to your team member, they can understand this business logic of this method with the help of this description itself. They no need to look into the code. They no need to look into the code. They no need to analyze this code. Simply, they can able to look into the description. They can understand it. Very easy. For that reason, we are going to be using this kind of documentation styles as part of the real-time implementations. As part of this real-time implementations, we are going to follow this kind of implementations. So upon implementing the code, okay, we have to follow this kind of documentations. For the class, a different documentation. For the method, a different documentation will be available. This is called as comments. This is called as comments, which we are going to be giving some information about this method so that the people can understand. Now we can raise a question. Sir, if I'm giving this much of comment, will it be counting as part of 60 lakhs characters? No, commented lines of code will not be counting as part of 60 lakhs characters. Whatever the business logic you have written, only business logic will be getting counted. So this commented lines of code will not be counting as part of your Apex characters limit. This is the way we have to implement the business logic as part of your real-time implementations inside the triggers as well. Okay. This is how we have to write that. Okay. So do the implementation for this, okay, recruiter to hiring manager today. So tomorrow we'll see some more business functionalities over here. Like as part of these implementations, we'll see the remaining features, like as trigger best practices and the recursive triggers feature, and then trigger order of execution. So that we can complete this trigger part, and then we'll see the concept of Apex sharing mechanism. Okay, Apex sharing. How to share the record through Apex programming. We'll see that concept with the help of the business logic, and along with that by using process builder. I don't want to use a trigger over here. I would like to use with the help of process builder. How can we implement that Apex sharing mechanism? Tomorrow we'll see practically.